Mr. Buffett tried to say there's something wrong about this. But he was as an old sage, but not an activist. Bill Gates said this is unnecessary. But to run in the middle of a presidential campaign, the exposure of his tax rate has taken the discussion to another level of exposure. That's going to be the redeeming part of the run the exposure, is that most people now, even Republicans, who are tax cut and estate tax protection people, are saying this is not right because it's just so out there. But we should focus on reconstructing banks, not refortifying them. Now they are bigger. Too big to fail was 2 years ago. They're too bigger to fail now.
Sure.
We've got too few banks controlling too much money and setting too many deals. And that's why the Occupy movement took on a certain moral authority. And it's a reaction to it, but the Occupy movement is not going away. No. It smells the corruption gap. It smells the inequality gap. It smells the wealth gap, the health gap, the education gap. And it goes in the gap. I've been at Occupy sites in South Africa, in Britain, St. Paul's Church, in New York, Chicago, LA, Phoenix, Atlanta, and every place that has the spirit that something is going to, so the Occupy people can't fix it. That's not their role to fix it. Occupy is a spirit. It's like a canary in the mine. Occupy says there's some gas down here,
right,
and there's poison down here. Now, those who really have the power or respond and not react to the occupiers, because somehow Occupy is in the best tradition of social change. And so long as it remains focused and disciplined and nonviolent, it will prevail.
Is the one that comes to the Occupy. Proven to be a mistake and was unfortunately linked to the Community Reinvestment Act, so we kind of got paid off. And so we reduced mortgages, and now the banks are trying to blame this crisis on the CRA and not the repeal of Glass-Steagall. And maybe not banks, but some pundits on the right, perhaps on the left. But the truth is that in 1999, a remedy from the 20s was put into, it was taken away. So in the 20s, our banks were gambling with our money, and in the late 20s, early 30s, said no more. And then in 1999, we had a dot-com boom, and no one was really paying attention to the banks, and we needed building to get going again to be in a real estate recession. And so Bill Clinton, by way of taking good money for the poor communities, for the Community Reinvestment Act, which will directly help Michigan, passed a bad bill. And it was a Republican-sponsored bill, and people on this stage supported it. Because we didn't understand it. Now we do, and we know that the banks need to be split up, and we have an opportunity within the Dodd-Frank legislation, which is being negotiated now. There's a rule called the Volcker Rule, sponsored by the Federal Reserve Chairman and Treasury Secretary Paul Volcker, from Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan era, smart guy, well-intentioned guy. We need to split these banks up. Banks can't be gambling with our money. This is the only reason I'm here. I saw you on TV in Chicago yesterday, got on the plane, because I know you needed support, and we need to fight for this because this is what's right, and we can't, there's nothing else that's more important. And we have to go, when Barack Obama comes in the State of the Union and beautifully says, we're not going to let our banks make the same mistake that they made in the past. That is the mistake that we made. We can't blur the lines. The regulation is onerous. We need less regulation. We just need to split you guys up. You've got to stop gambling with our money.
Say it loud.
Jesus occupied the temple. They wouldn't have to worship, and he saw the money changers and the wheeling and dealing inside the church. He kicked the tables over. This is not right. Dr. King occupied the road in Montgomery for a year. He occupied himself in Montgomery as a result of revolt. His last act on earth was to occupy the mall in Washington. Right. So we should choose the war on poverty at home rather than the war in Vietnam. So Occupy today is an extension of the great tradition of those who use nonviolent direct action to bring about social change and ultimately social justice. And those who react to the change we seek are the first to benefit from it. In the South, those who are the most adamant against our struggle Now, because the cotton curtain is down, then I can get new businesses come south. Presidents can run from the South. We transform the South in nonviolent, direct occupying.